At number 2, I have Black Forest. So Black Forest, the newest Uwe Rosenberg game, and if you've watched my channel over the year or ever watched any of my videos about my games collection, you might know that I have pretty much no Uwe Rosenberg's games in my collection, with the odd exception, and those exceptions are not the farming simulator style games that he's most known for. So I have played a lot of them, but none of them have really worked for me. One of them that did kind of sit on that borderline of me keeping it or not keeping it was Glass Road. Now I really like Glass Road, especially that resource system where whenever you gain certain basic resources, you will automatically generate the more kind of luxury resources. And when I heard that mechanism was coming back in a new game, Black Forest, that really did pique my interest, especially when the rest of the game was kind of built from the ground up and was built on more traditional Euro concepts rather than the card-driven concepts of Glass Road, which I thought was cool, but I thought it was a little bit gimmicky and didn't really stand up to repeated plays. I found it a little bit too experimental. This one, again, more of a traditional Euro style game, as you are moving around this map with your worker, visiting different people on this map, getting resources, converting resources, building buildings, all the Euro-y goodness that I tend to enjoy. Now, the game itself, I think, is really well done. I think it's a polished game, as you'd expect with a designer like Uwe Rosenberg. I thought the actual main worker movement board was really cool, as you know, you are spending provisions in order to move from town to town, so you're trying to plan your routes efficiently as not to waste anything. You can even manipulate the board state by moving different kind of traders to different locations to try and suit you. There's a race to get certain kind of contracts done. So again, lots of traditional Euro things that I tend to like, and I thought that was executed really well. Much like the original Glass Road, I really enjoyed that resource wheel, where you want to very meticulously get the right resources, because again, you do automatically generate the luxury resources, which can actually ruin your plans if you're not careful. Loved all of that. There was one thing that I found a little bit clunky though, or maybe not clunky, more overwhelming, and that was the sheer variety of options here. Now, I know that some people will look at that or hear that and think, excellent, there's so much you can do here, and that is true, but I found it a little bit daunting and a little bit too much to take in, because I think every single game here you have like, I don't know, 50 buildings or something. You've got some big ones as well as a ton of the smaller ones. They are kind of organised in a way that you can break it down into the different resources, but there is a lot of cross-contamination, and what I found myself doing a lot of the time was just collecting random stuff and then looking at the resource board and then building whatever I could build rather than working towards something. So I felt that this game lacked a little bit of direction. I think it would have been better if there was maybe round by round objectives or something you can try and go for to get some bonus points, just to put you on the rails a little bit. I found it a little bit too sandboxy and just too many kind of conversion tiles where you could turn this into this, into this, into this. Again, I like the idea of that, but in practice it was like, oh, I don't know, just pick one of them and hopefully it will work out. There are some good different strategies you can go here, as you can focus on, you know, really densely populating your player boards or keeping them bare. Again, lots of different ways you can get points, but again, I found the points a little bit minor. It felt like you're doing a lot of work for very few points in return. And all in all, again, despite me objectively liking a lot of the things that went on here, I found the game a little bit too meandering and a bit too plodding, and just lacking that little bit of drive and that little sense of urgency that I would have liked to have seen, and what I tend to enjoy in a lot of other Euros. This one was just a little bit too foot off the gas, and just hopefully things will work out and so on. So maybe I'm just really bad at this. Maybe, well, it seems to be a running theme with Uwe Rosenberg games. I just find them, I don't know, they just don't gel with my playstyle too much, and this is sadly another example of that, despite me thinking it would be the polar opposite. Just, again, too many things going on in terms of these buildings, and it feels like you're pulling teeth in order just to get a very small amount of points in return for that. Now, that being said, I'm sure if you like Uwe games, then you're going to get a lot from this one, because it is a solid design objectively. It's just one that didn't quite work for me, and even the people I played it with actually agreed with me. So maybe it's not just me saying that. And if you are tried and tested in terms of playing Uwe and enjoying Uwe games, then you'll like this one. If you don't, then I don't think this is the one to change your mind. So again, objectively a good game, but just one that's not right for me. That is Black Forest